Frank, sitting in a grey Manchester flat, reflects on how everything fell apart. I lost £250,000 in Thailand. My dignity, my trust, 6 years of my life. And the worst part? I watched it happening and convinced myself I was wrong. 6 years. 6 years of my life that I'll never get back. 6 years of believing she loved me, that we were building something real together. Looking back now from this cramped one-bedroom in the city I left behind, I realize how blind I was. Every red flag, every warning, every moment my gut screamed at me, I ignored it all. Thailand taught me a lesson I'll never forget. The smile means nothing when there's greed behind it. Love isn't enough when you're nothing but a retirement fund with a heartbeat. But here's the thing, I'm one of the lucky ones. I got out. Not unscathed, but I got out with something left. And I made damn sure she didn't get everything she was planning to take. This is how I escaped. Let me take you back to 2016. I was 59, British, and I just finalized the most painful divorce of my life. I had approximately £450,000. After 28 years of marriage, after building a life with someone, after 2 kids and a mortgage and everything we'd created together, she left me for my business partner. 28 years, and she threw it away for someone I'd trusted like a brother. The divorce took half of what we'd built, but I still walked away with enough to retire comfortably. I'd invested most of it conservatively, getting about 4% return, which meant roughly £1,500 coming in every month from investments. Combined with my IT consultant pension of £1,700 monthly, I had £3,200 a month, more than enough to live well. But I was broken. My ex-wife had destroyed me in ways that went beyond money. After the affair came out, my adult kids took her side, said I'd been emotionally absent, that I'd worked too much. Maybe they were right. Maybe I had. But watching them choose him that finished me off. I'd spent my whole life working in IT, building systems, solving problems, always putting work first. I felt like I'd missed out on living. At 59, I was alone, angry, and desperate to feel something other than failure. A friend in Phuket kept telling me about his life there. "Mate, you can live like a king on pension money," he'd say. "The weather's perfect, everything's cheap, and the women actually appreciate men like us." He'd send photos, beaches, sunshine, nights out that didn't cost a fortune. I thought he was exaggerating, but after months of grey Manchester weather and an empty house that still smelled like her perfume, I thought, why not give it a try? November 2016, I arrived in Phuket. The heat hit me like a wall, but it felt good, like it was burning away everything cold and dead inside me. Those first few weeks, I felt like I could breathe again. Everything was affordable, exciting, alive. The beaches, the food, the energy of the place. It was everything Manchester wasn't. I rented a 1-bedroom condo in Patong for 18,000 baht a month, about £400. I was spending maybe £1,200 a month total, living better than I ever had back home. Beach views, eating out every night, proper Thai massages that cost £6 instead of £60. I was actually saving money. My £3,200 income meant I was putting away nearly £2,000 every month. I felt smart, like I'd figured out a secret that most people never learned. If I'd just kept things that way, simple, cheap, smart, none of this would have happened. But I was thinking about not being alone anymore, about finding someone who wouldn't betray me like she did, someone who'd see me for who I was, not just what I'd failed to be. And that's when I met her. I'd been in Thailand for about 4 months when I met her. Bangla Road in Patong. This was early 2017, before everything got too commercialized. I'd walked past dozens of girls that evening. They were everywhere, calling out, grabbing arms, but Ladder was different. She was standing outside a bar, not aggressively approaching like the others. She was 32, pale-skinned for Thai standards, with this quiet presence. She wasn't wearing the heavy makeup like the others. When she smiled at me, it felt shy, almost innocent. I walked in, ordered a singha, and she approached me. "Where you from?" Her English wasn't great, but something about her felt genuine. We talked, or tried to. She'd laugh at my terrible attempts at Thai, and I'd try to understand her broken English. Within an hour, she told me about her life. She was from Buriram, Isaan. Her parents had been rice farmers. Her father died when she was young. She had an 8-year-old daughter from a previous relationship. "Thai man no good," she said, looking down. "He leave when baby come. No help, no money." She'd come to Phuket to work because there was nothing in the village, sending money home for her mother, who was sick, and for her daughter, who lived with her grandmother. Lada wasn't like the other girls. She didn't immediately ask for drinks or money. She just seemed vulnerable, like she'd ended up here because life hadn't given her better options. I know what you're thinking. Bar girl, poor village, kid with absent father. I'd heard it all before from other expats. But with her, it felt real, like she wasn't playing a game. Yes, I was 27 years older than her. But I thought age didn't matter in Thailand. I could give her a life she'd never have otherwise. I could be the good man the Thai guy wasn't. I could rescue her. 2 days later, she said her mother needed medicine. The hospital wanted 10,000 baht, about £220. She showed me a photo of her mum looking frail in a hospital bed. Her eyes were wet with tears. I gave her the money without hesitation. If this was real, then helping her family was the right thing to do. This would prove I wasn't like the other guys who just wanted something from her. But when I gave her the money, her smile changed for just a second. It was subtle, most people wouldn't have noticed, but I did. It shifted from grateful to satisfied. Like I'd passed a test I didn't know I was taking. My friend back in Manchester had warned me before I left. They all have the same story, mate. Sick mother, kid with deadbeat dad. It's a script. I'd ignored him. Over the next month, Lada and I saw each other almost every day. I paid her 15,000 baht, about £330, so she could quit the bar. I started imagining our future together. 3 months in, I knew I wanted to marry her. I thought I'd found my second chance at happiness. I was wrong. Over the next 6 months, life in Phuket felt like a dream I didn't want to wake from. Lada and I would wake up late, have breakfast at a small cafe near the beach, spend afternoons at the pool, go out for dinner every evening. She didn't need to work anymore because I was giving her 20,000 baht a month, about £440 for expenses and to send home. My pension and investment income meant I had about £3,200 coming in. Rent was £400, food and entertainment another £800. Lada's allowance, £440. I was spending roughly £2,100 a month. I was still saving about £1,100 monthly. I felt good about the numbers. After 2 months, she said her mother needed an operation, something with her kidneys. 60,000 baht, about £1,300. Lada cried when she told me. I don't know what to do. If mother die, I never forgive myself. I didn't want to say no. If I said no, she'd think I didn't care about her family. But this was more than I'd planned to spend. This was eating into my savings. I gave her the money. It was her family, of course I'd help. This was just how things worked in Thailand, right? You took care of the people you loved. Looking back now, this was the test, and I failed it. This was when she learned I'd always say yes. By our 6-month anniversary, we were talking about marriage. I asked her to marry me at Kata Beach during sunset. She cried. She said yes, immediately. She seemed genuinely happy, posting photos on Facebook, showing off the small ring I'd bought her. Her family kept asking when we'd get married. They said it wasn't proper for us to live together without marriage. Lada said we should make it official. Then came the sinsot. For those who don't know, sinsot is the bride price you pay to the bride's family in Thailand. It's supposed to show you can take care of her, but honestly, it's become a business transaction. Lada's family wanted 2 million baht. That's £44,000. For what permission to marry her? A girl I was already living with? A girl who'd been working in a bar? I was stunned. I felt sick. That was a house deposit back in Manchester. That was 2 years of pension income. I told Lada no. She cried. She said her family would disown her. She said I was making her look poor, making her lose face. If you love me, you take care of my family honor. I negotiated. They came down to 1,200,000 baht, about 26,500 pounds, plus gold another 8,000 pounds, and the wedding expenses. I thought paying that would give me respect. It just made me a target. May 2017, we got married in her village in Buriram. The whole village showed up. It was hot, chaotic, and entirely in Thai. I understood maybe 10%. The ceremony cost 18,000 pounds. Food, for what felt like 500 people, traditional outfits, monks, decorations. I paid for all of it. 2 months later, we had a smaller ceremony in Phuket. Another 8,000 pounds. Lada was so proud, posting photos everywhere, showing her friends that her Farang husband could provide. At this point, I'd spent approximately 65,000 pounds. Breakdown. Initial help and allowances, 12,000 pounds, sinsot and gold, 34,500 pounds, weddings, 18,500 pounds, total, 65,000 pounds. I still had 385,000 pounds left. My income was still covering our lifestyle. I told myself this was normal. This was investing in our future. Marriage would make things stable. I thought marriage would be the happy ending. I was wrong. This was just the beginning. The first year of our marriage, from mid-2017 to 2018, passed quickly. We were living in the same Patong condo. Rent was still 18,000 baht a month, about 400 pounds. My monthly expenses looked like this. Rent, 400 pounds. Food and utilities, 600 pounds. Lada's allowance, 440 pounds. Her family, 330 pounds. She said they needed it every month. Now, miscellaneous, 230 pounds. Total, 2,000 pounds. My income was 3,200 pounds. I was still saving 1,200 pounds a month, though less than before. Over that first year, I'd managed to save about 14,000 pounds, which softened the blow of the wedding expenses. Lada seemed happy enough. She'd spend hours on her phone, talking to her family, chatting with friends on Facebook. She kept talking about things we should buy: a nicer TV, new furniture, a car. One day she saw a handbag in Central Festival, Louis Vuitton. 80,000 baht, about 1,750 pounds. "All my friend have nice bag," she said. "Why you not buy for me?" I bought it. It was only 1,750 pounds, right? How could I say no when she'd given up her independence to be with me? Looking back, that phrase destroyed my life. It's only 1,750 pounds. Because only 1,750 pounds happened a dozen times. 3 months later, her sister couldn't pay school fees for her kids. 45,000 baht, about 1,000 pounds. Lada cried, begged, made me feel like a villain for hesitating. I sent the money. They were my family now too. What kind of husband would I be if I refused? This happened every few months. Always urgent. Always expensive. Her brother's motorcycle broke down. Her mother needed more medicine. The village temple needed donations. Someone's funeral. Someone's wedding. Lada started spending more time on her phone, getting calls late at night. She'd leave the room to answer. When I asked who she was talking to, she'd say, "My friend," or "my family," with this edge in her voice. "Why you not trust me?" I noticed but didn't push. I told myself I was being paranoid. This was normal after being married a while, right? The honeymoon phase had to end sometime. I was starting to feel trapped. I kept telling myself things would get better. I was too proud to admit I'd made a mistake. By early 2018, I'd spent another 22,000 pounds on top of the 65,000 pounds from the wedding year. Cumulative total, 87,000 pounds. I was down to 363,000 pounds in savings. I wasn't worried yet, but I was starting to think about how long my money would last if this continued. Then Lada started talking about buying a house. "We should have our own place," she said one evening. She'd been planning it. She showed me pictures on her phone. A 3-bedroom house in her village in Buriram. She said it would be about 4 million baht, around £88,000. This was when things went from bad to catastrophic. March 2018, Lada said, we should build our own house. She had it all planned out. A proper 3-bedroom house in her village. Land her family already owned, they'd give it to us. Traditional Thai style but modern inside. She said it would cost about 4 million baht, roughly £88,000 for the build. I was hesitant. I knew it was risky. I had concerns. I can't own property in Thailand, it would have to be in your name. Lada said. We married, same. I your wife, not run away. You not trust me? That's a huge chunk of my savings, she counted. £88,000, not too much. Back in England, house cost much more. We save money, no more pay rent. This investment for our future. What if something goes wrong? You think I bad person? I love you, why you worry? My family help if problem. We build together. Her family kept asking when we'd build the house. They said it was shameful for her to still be renting in Phuket when her husband had money. Her friends' husbands had already bought houses, built for their wives' families. I started to convince myself she was right. We could have our own space. Stop paying £400 a month in rent, that's nearly £5,000 a year. The house would cost £88,000 less than 2 years of rent in London, and property in Thailand was cheap compared to back home. For those who don't know, foreigners can't own land in Thailand. You can own the structure, the house itself, but not the land it sits on, which means if the relationship ends, you lose everything. She owns it completely. You have zero legal protection. I knew all of this. Other expats had told me horror stories. I'd read about it online. I'd heard about guys losing everything. I knew the risks, but I did it anyway. I convinced myself we were different. I thought I was smarter than those other guys. I believed she'd never betray me. Looking back now, I want to go back in time and shake myself awake. Over the next 3 months, we looked at building materials, met with contractors her family knew, designed the house together. The original £88,000 turned into £106,000 because we needed better materials. She wanted upgrades. Her family suggested adding another bathroom and a bigger kitchen. We bought the land well. She bought it, in her name, for 500,000 baht. About £11,000. Then came the actual construction costs. The contractor was her uncle. I never saw detailed receipts. Everything was in Thai. Money kept going out. Foundation cost more than expected. Worker want more money. Material price go up. When we went to sign papers, everything was in Thai. I couldn't read any of it. Her family handled everything. I wasn't included in conversations. They'd talk rapidly in Thai. Lada would nod, and then she'd turn to me and say, sign here. I gave Lada £95,000 to handle the purchase and construction over several months. I never saw detailed accounting. The amount kept changing. Money seemed to disappear into fees and extra costs. I thought, what if something goes wrong? They'll all side with her. Her family, her uncle as contractor, her name on everything. But I didn't say anything out loud. I didn't want to seem like I didn't trust her. Once we'd committed, Lada seemed less interested in my opinions. She'd make decisions about the house without asking me. When I'd question something, she'd say, Thai way, or my family know better. By August 2018, when the house was finally complete, I'd spent £117,000. Breakdown. Land, £11,000. Construction, £95,000. Furniture and setup, £11,000 total, £117,000. I was down to £246,000 in savings, just over half of what I'd started with. When the house was finished, I felt proud. It was beautiful. 3 bedrooms, modern kitchen, Thai-style roof. The village came to see it. Lada seemed happy, taking photos, showing it off on Facebook. I thought, now we can settle down. Now she'll be satisfied. This is our future secured. I was wrong. Within 2 months, she immediately started talking about the next thing we needed. We should open small hotel, she said. Guest house for tourist. Make money. 6 months after building the house, In early 2019, things started falling apart. Lada wanted to open a guest house, small hotel, she said, near Kata Beach in Phuket. 4 rooms, simple but nice. Tourists always come, we make good money. Her cousin would manage it since we'd be living between Phuket and the village. The property, an existing small building, cost 2,500,000 baht, about £55,000. Then renovations, licenses, furniture, bedding, marketing, another £40,000. I said no, I'd already spent £117,000 on the house. This was too much, too fast. She cried. She said I didn't believe in her. She said this was our chance to make money, to not just spend. You think I stupid? I know guest house business. I work in Phuket long time. I thought about it for weeks. Maybe she was right. Maybe this would generate income. £95,000 investment. And if we rented rooms at £40 a night, 4 rooms, maybe 60% occupancy, that could be £2,800 a month. That would change everything. I pulled £95,000 from my investments to fund it. This meant my investment account dropped from £246,000 to £151,000, and my monthly investment income fell from £1,500 to about £900, a loss of £600 per month. The guest house opened in April 2019. Lada's cousin Prida was supposed to manage it. He was 28, spoke decent English, seemed capable. The first 3 months, we had bookings. Not great, but okay. Maybe £1,200 a month profit after expenses. Less than I'd projected, but something. Then it started going wrong. Bookings dropped. Lada said it was low season. Every month, she'd say, guest house need money for repairs. Aircon broke, water heater need replace. First few months, £880 to keep things going. Next month's, £1,500 for new furniture after guest damage. Later, another £2,200 because we have to pay tax and license fee. I was frustrated. I knew something was wrong. I'd put £95,000 into this, and we hadn't made a single baht in profit after those first 3 months. When I tried to look at the books, Lada got angry. You not trust me? You not trust my family? You think we steal from you? Between the guest house, bleeding money and our regular expenses, I was now losing about £800 a month. My income had dropped to £2,600, pension £1,700 plus. Reduced investment income £900, but our expenses were £2,000, plus the guest house was another £1,400 average per month. Over 2019 and into early 2020, the guest house cost me another £18,000 beyond the initial investment. Lada and I barely had sex anymore. We'd stopped being affectionate. We felt like roommates, not spouses. We argued more often. Every conversation somehow became about money. She'd accuse me of being cheap. I'd accuse her of being wasteful. She spent more time with friends, going out in Phuket, visiting the village without me. Gone for days at a time. She seemed to avoid me. Her phone was password protected suddenly. She'd leave the room to take calls. She got defensive when I asked who she was texting. Why you always suspect me? Why you not trust? Lada seemed unhappy all the time. Resentful toward me. Like she wanted to be anywhere but with me. I started to suspect something was wrong. My gut told me she was hiding something. I wondered if she'd ever really loved me, or if I'd just been a retirement fund to her from the start. My friend from Manchester messaged me in December 2019. Mate, I hate to say it, but you need to be careful. I've seen this story before. Check the numbers. Watch her behavior. I got defensive, told him he didn't understand. I was too proud to admit I might be wrong. By early 2020, I'd spent approximately £230,000. Breakdown: original wedding, sinsot, £65,000. First-year family, gifts, £22,000. House in village, £117,000. Guest house investment, plus losses, £26,000. Total, £230,000. I had £220,000 left. Less than half of what I'd started with. My monthly income was down to £2,600, barely enough to cover our lifestyle. I felt trapped, depressed, too proud to admit failure. I couldn't leave because I'd lose everything, the house, the business. All of it was in her name. I'd invested, too much to walk away. I kept telling myself things would get better. She was just stressed. This was temporary. Then, in February 2020, I met someone at an expat bar in Patong. He said something that would change everything. "I know your wife." What I discovered would destroy everything I thought I knew. One afternoon in February 2020, I was having a beer at a bar in Patong. An Australian guy, maybe early 52nds, sat next to me. We got talking. Expat small talk, how long you been here, where you from, the usual. My stomach dropped. "Yeah. How do you know?" He looked uncomfortable. "Mate, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but I know her. From before. From when she was working. She doesn't work anymore." "I know. Because you're supporting her." He paused. "Look, there's something you should know. She's still with her Thai boyfriend, guy named Python. He's from her village. They never broke up." My hands started shaking. "That's not true. She told me he left when their daughter was born." "Mate, I've seen them together. Recently. In Phuket. I thought you knew. I thought you were one of those guys who's okay with it." He pulled out his phone. "I'm sorry, but you need to see this." He showed me photos. Lada and a Thai man, holding hands, leaving what looked like a hotel. The photos were dated December 2019, 2 months ago. I felt physically sick. I didn't confront her immediately. I needed more proof. Over the next week, I started watching her more carefully, checking her phone when she was asleep, but it was password protected and I couldn't get in. But I saw patterns. She'd get calls late at night and leave the room. She'd go to visit her mother in Buriram and be gone for 3-4 days at a time. I hired a private investigator. Cost me £1,100, but I needed to know. 3 weeks later, he sent me the report. Photos, videos, timelines. Lada had been seeing Python the entire time we'd been together. He was living in the village in our house when I wasn't there. She'd been supporting him with my money, the guest house money that kept disappearing. Some of it was going to him. The family emergencies? Some were real, some weren't, but either way, he benefited. I had photos of them together in Buriram, at the house I'd built. Photos of him on a new Honda motorcycle I'd given her £2,600 8 months ago for her brother's emergency. That was his bike. The investigator estimated that over the past 3 years, at least £40,000 had gone directly or indirectly to supporting Python. Suddenly, everything made sense. That time in 2017, when an older Thai man had approached her at a bar and she'd acted strange, she was seeing Python then too. The £1,300 I'd given her for her mother's operation in early 2017. The investigator found out her mother had been sick, but the operation cost maybe £440. The rest? Unknown. Possibly to him. Her phone secrecy. The late-night calls. The trips to Buriram without me. The way she'd seemed distant, unhappy, like she was somewhere else mentally. My Australian friend had tried to hint at this a year ago. "Be careful with the bar girls, mate. They're good actresses." I'd gotten defensive. He was right all along. Lada had never stopped seeing her Thai boyfriend. I was just the foreign sponsor. The ATM. The retirement fund that built them a house and funded their life. The money I'd sent to her family, invested in the house, given for emergencies, it had all gone to supporting both of them. I calculated it. £230,000 spent over 3.5 years. How much went to him? The investigator estimated at least £40,000 directly. But indirectly, the house he lived in, the guest house that funded their trips, the family money that freed up village resources, probably £100,000 plus of benefit to him. I felt betrayed on a level I didn't know was possible. I wanted to destroy something. I'd never felt rage like this. But mostly, I felt empty. Broken. Like the past 3.5 years had been erased. How could I have been so blind, So stupid, so desperate. The worst part was I had no legal rights to anything. The house hers, the guest house her name. I'd signed everything away. If I walked away now, I'd lose every penny of that £230,000. But I wasn't going to just walk away and let her win. I wasn't going to let her keep everything. I started thinking about how I could turn this around, how I could get something back. I had one advantage. She didn't know that I knew. She thought I was still the naive Farang, still believing her lies. I couldn't keep this inside anymore. I needed to hear her admit it. But more than that, I needed to be smart about this. That evening, March 10th, 2020, I waited for her. I had the investigator's report hidden in my bag. I had the photos on my phone. Lada came home around 7 p.m. She was on her phone, smiling at something, didn't even really look at me. I said, "We need to talk." Lada was sitting on the couch, still looking at her phone. I was shaking, the investigator's report in my hand. I said, "Who is Python?" She went pale. For just a second, the mask slipped. Then she recovered. "What you talking about? Don't lie to me anymore." I put the photos on the table in front of her. Photos of her and him, at the house, in Phuket, on the motorcycle I'd paid for. She froze, staring at the photos. Then she started crying. "Where you get that? Why you spy on me? You jealous man, you crazy. Stop lying to me. I know everything. I hired an investigator. I have weeks of surveillance. I know he's been living in our house. I know you've been with him the whole time." She tried the denial tactics. "That not what you think. He just friend. That my cousin. Someone lied to you. Stop." I showed her more photos. Timestamps. "He's not your cousin. He's your boyfriend. You've been with him since before we met. And you've been using my money to support him." Her face changed. The crying stopped. The defiance showed. The mask dropped completely. She finally admitted it. "Okay. Yes. I with him. The whole time. Since before I meet you." My chest felt tight. I could barely breathe. "The daughter? Is she even his?" "Yes. He, her father. I tell you that already, you just not listen properly. But you said he left you." She shrugged. "I say what you want to hear. I needed answers. I needed to understand. Why me?" She looked at me like I was stupid. "You looked like you had money. You were nice. You believed everything I said." "Easy. Did you ever love me?" She looked away, said nothing for a moment. Then, "Maybe at first. Little bit. But..." She trailed off. "But what? You old man. You think I love old man? This just business for me." The words hit me like a physical blow. Business. You want Thai girl, pretty girl, young girl. I need money. Simple. We both get what we want. I gave you everything. I built you a fide house. I gave you a business. I know. Thank you. She said it without emotion, like I'd given her a tip, not my entire future. The house money, the £117,000. Some go to house, some go other place. To him, my family, me. Why you care now? You give me money. It my money. I do what I want. The guest house, the £40,000 you said you needed. Guest house, not make money. Too hard. Paithun need money for his family too. I felt my legs go weak. I sat down. Everyone in the village knows, don't they? Your family knows. Of course they know. Everyone know. Only you don't know. The humiliation was worse than the betrayal. I'd been the joke. The stupid Farang everyone was laughing at, building a house for another man, funding their life together, while thinking I was building a future with her. I wanted to hit something, throw something, but I couldn't move. Part of me still couldn't believe she was saying this. Part of me wanted to think she was lying now, being cruel because she was angry. But I knew she was telling the truth. Finally, after 3.5 years, I was hearing the truth. I want you out. I want a divorce. She laughed. This my house, my guest house, my name on everything. You cannot make me leave. I paid for all of it. You give me money. I buy house. Thai law house belong to me. You know this when you build it. Not my problem, you stupid. She was right. Everything was in her name. I couldn't force her out. I couldn't reclaim anything. Thai law was crystal clear. I'll fight this. I'll take you to court. Cost you more money than you have. Lawyer expensive. Take long time. You lose anyway. Farang always lose in Thailand. You know this. She stood up, grabbed some things. I go stay with friend tonight. Maybe I come back tomorrow. Maybe not. This my house, I do what I want. She called her family to pick her up. Within an hour, she was gone. I sat there in the condo we'd rented together, surrounded by furniture I'd bought, and I did the math. Everything I'd built, paid for, invested in. The house in Buriram, £117,000 legally hers. I couldn't force a sale. The guest house in Phuket, £95,000 for the property, plus £18,000 in losses. Her name on everything. Total, £230,000 that I would never see again. I had £220,000 left, maybe 49% of what I'd started with. Not enough to fight a legal battle that I'd lose anyway. My monthly income was down to £2,600. Our expenses were £2,000, but now I'd have to pay rent alone. I'd be losing money every month just to survive. But sitting there, something shifted in me. I wasn't going to let her keep everything. She thought I was stupid? She thought she'd won? I had maybe 2 months before the next big financial move she'd expect me to make. She'd gotten used to me being a pushover. She'd gotten comfortable. That was her mistake. I wasn't leaving Thailand broke. I wasn't going to be another cautionary tale. I was going to think like an IT consultant again. Analyze the system. Find the vulnerability. Execute the solution. I started planning. The next week, March 2020, we avoided each other. She'd come back to the condo occasionally, grab things, leave again. We didn't speak. As I looked deeper, I learned more truths. The guest house losses ladder's cousin Prida had been skimming money. The investigator found he'd been pocketing room payments, not recording them in the books. Maybe £8,800 over the past year had just vanished. She'd been posting on social media with Python the whole time I'd been blocked from seeing those posts. There were photos of them together going back to 2016, before I'd even met her. The emergency surgeries her mother supposedly had in 2017 and 2018. Her mother had been sick, but the operations cost maybe £880 total, not the £2,600 I'd sent. The rest went elsewhere. Other expats had tried to warn my friend about her before I'd met her. He'd tried to hint, but I'd been too defensive to listen. I'd been played from the start. The mark. In a long con. I was a walking wallet. The only one who didn't know what everyone else knew. People at the bars in Patong knew. Her village knew. Her entire family knew. They'd all watched me build that house, fund that business, send that money, and they'd all known it was going to support her and Python. I sat down and calculated everything one final time. Year. 2016到2017 65英镑 000 wedding. Sinsat. Setup. Year 2 2017 to 2018 Ashar Yingbang 000. Family gifts. Monthly drain. Year 3 2018 to 2019 £117,000. House construction. Year 4 2019 to 2020 £26,000. Guest house investment plus losses. Total £230,000. I had £220,000 left, less than half of what I'd started with. By pulling money out of investments, my monthly income had dropped from £3,200 to £2,600. Losing £600 per month permanently because my investment base had shrunk. I was 63 now, too old to work decades to rebuild this. I was facing a retirement of poverty if I didn't do something. I consulted a Thai lawyer. Cost me £440 for 2 hours. He told me I had almost no rights as a foreign spouse. Thai law heavily favored Thai nationals. Anything in her name was hers, period. Legal battles would cost £11,000 plus and take years, and I'd likely lose anyway. Specific points: house, legally hers, I couldn't claim it. Guest house, my name wasn't even on it. Divorce, I'd have to negotiate or pay her to agree. This was when I finally understood Thailand. All those years, I'd thought I was building a life here. I thought Thailand welcomed foreigners. I thought respect and love could bridge the gap between cultures and ages. But the truth was, I was always just an ATM. Thailand tolerates foreigners as long as money flows. The smile is a mask. You'll never belong, no matter what you do. From day one, I was seen as money, nothing more. Those famous Thai smiles, they smile while taking everything from you. After 3.5 years, I was still Farang, still an outsider. The whole country is set up this way: laws, culture, expectations. Everything is designed to extract maximum value from foreigners while protecting Thais. I couldn't sleep. I lost weight. I wasn't drinking heavily yet, but I thought about it. I felt like I'd rather not be here anymore. I had no one to talk to. I'd alienated my kids back in Manchester. I was too embarrassed to admit what had happened to my friends. I'd thought of myself as smart, successful, someone who made good decisions, but I'd been the biggest fool. Exactly the stereotype. The cautionary tale. I had to decide. Option 1. Leave Thailand and start over with £220,000. Admit complete failure. Go back to Manchester with my tail between my legs. Option 2. Stay and survive on what I had left. Live. With the humiliation, see her around town. Option 3. Fight back smart. Try to recover some money, salvage something, use my IT brain one last time. I chose option 3, because I refused to let her win completely. I refused to be just another stupid Farang who got cleaned out. I started analyzing the situation like I would a systems problem. Where were the vulnerabilities? Where was my leverage? Then something happened that I didn't expect, something that would give me the opportunity I needed. COVID-19 hit Thailand. March 2020, everything started shutting down. Borders were closing, tourists were fleeing, businesses were collapsing. And I realized this was my chance. Late March 2020, COVID-19 shut down Thailand. Borders closed, tourists disappeared overnight. Phuket became a ghost town. The guest house had 0 bookings, 0 income. But the bills kept coming. Electricity, water, property tax, maintenance. About £660 a month in fixed costs. Lada panicked. She called me. First time we'd really spoken in 2 weeks. Guest house have no money. We need to pay bills or we lose it. That's your problem. It's in your name, remember? But you have money. You help me. Like I've been helping you for 3 years? While you were with Python, she got angry. You cannot let guest house fail. You put money in it. I'd been waiting for this. I'll make you a deal. Here's what I did. I told her I'd invest another £22,000 to keep the guest house afloat during COVID, but only if we formed a proper partnership with contracts. I'd own 49%, legally, the maximum foreigners can own. She'd agree to sell the guest house when COVID ended, and we'd split the proceeds fairly. She agreed. She was desperate. Pathun couldn't help her, he had no money. Her family couldn't help. She needed me. We signed papers. I made sure I had a good lawyer this time, cost me £1,100, but it was worth it. The lawyer was British, married to a Thai woman, knew all the tricks. The contract stated, I owned 49% of the guesthouse business. If sold, proceeds would be split 51% her, 49%. Me, I had right of first refusal. If she wanted to sell her share, the partnership would be dissolved by December 2020. I transferred £11,000 to the business account. Immediately, but this time I was a signatory on the account. I could see every transaction. Over the next month, April 2020, I watched carefully. I managed the guest house remotely. I didn't give her another pound without documentation. Here's what I found. She tried to withdraw £2,200 for emergency repairs. I blocked it. Made her show me quotes from contractors. The actual cost was £880. I approved only that amount. She tried to pay her cousin Prida £1,320 for back management fees. I fired him instead. Managed bookings myself online. By May 2020, I'd uncovered about £6,600 in expenses she'd tried to claim that were fraudulent or inflated. I documented everything, every fake receipt, every inflated cost, every attempt to steal. In June 2020, I contacted a buyer, another British expat who was looking for distressed properties during COVID. He offered £82,000 for the guest house, below the original £95,000 I'd paid, but in a pandemic, it was fair. Lada initially refused. Too cheap. We wait. Fine. Then you buy my 49% share for £40,000. Contract says you have to match any outside offer for my share. She didn't have £40,000. Python didn't have it. Her family didn't have it. We sell to the British guy then, I said. Or the business goes bankrupt and we both lose everything. She agreed to sell. Opset Shidoi, 0 sale price. Split 51%. 49%. Her share, £41,820. My share, £40,180. But she still owed the business £11,000 that I'd put in. According to our contract, that was a business loan from me, to be repaid from her share of any sale. Final settlement, her. 41, 820, 11, 0 debt, 30, 820, me, £40,180, plus £11,000, repayment equals £51,180. I walked away with £51,180 from the guest house, not the £95,000 I'd originally invested, but something. But I wasn't done. The house in Buriram was a loss, I accepted that. £117,000 gone forever, but at least I'd salvaged something from the business. July 15, 2020, the sale completed. Money transferred. I had £271,180 total, now £220,000 remaining savings plus £51,180 from guest house sale. July 16th, I booked a flight to Cambodia. One way. Leaving in 3 days. I never told her I was leaving. She'd have to explain to Paithun where all the money went. July 19th, 2020, I crossed into Cambodia with 2 suitcases and £271,180 in my bank account. I'm 65 now. I live in Siem Reap, renting a small apartment for £220 a month. I have about £260,000 left after settling into Cambodia, lost some to flights, visa costs, setting up here. It's invested again, generating about £1,560 monthly. Combined with my pension of £1,700, I have £3,260 a month. I live on £1,100 a month. Rent, food, utilities, everything is cheaper here than Phuket. I'm saving again. About £2,160 a month. I don't date anymore. I can't imagine trusting anyone again. The thought of getting close to someone makes me feel physically ill. My kids still don't speak to me. They don't know the full story. I'm too ashamed to tell them. Some days are okay, I'll read, walk around Angkor Wat, have coffee at a local place. Other days are hard, I'll wake up angry, thinking about everything I lost, how stupid I was. Most days are just days. Existing. Surviving. If I could go back, I'd never go to Thailand. I'd never walk into that bar. I'd listen to the warnings, but I can't. The past is gone. This is the life I have now. My retirement won't be poverty, I saved enough for that. But it won't be what I'd planned either. No travel, no luxury. Just a small apartment in Cambodia and a careful budget. I'm alive. I survived what she did to me. I'm poor compared to what I had, but I'm free. I escaped with £200,000 plus still intact. That's more than most guys in my situation can say. But the emotional damage? That's permanent. If you're reading this, learn from my mistakes. Don't be me. Save yourself. Here are 7 things I learned the hard way at the cost of £180,000 and 6 years of my life. Lesson Diesen, never put property in her name. I thought we're married, so it's ours. The truth is, the moment it's in her name, it's hers. Legally. You have 0 claim. You can't get it back. Rent instead, it's cheaper than losing a house. If she insists on a house, walk away. Don't let culture talk you into giving up legal protection. This mistake cost me £117,000. Don't let it cost you. Lesson #2. If the age gap is 20 plus years, it's not love. I was 59, she was 32. She wasn't attracted to me, she was attracted to my wallet. No 32-year-old genuinely falls for a 59-year-old man she met in a bar. Ask yourself, would she be with you if you had no money? Does she introduce you proudly or hide you? If she calls you handsome man but won't be seen with you in public, you're an ATM. Lesson #3. The family emergencies never stop. Her mother needs £1,300 for surgery. You pay it. Next month her sister needs £1,100 for school fees. It becomes monthly, then constant. Reality. Half aren't real. Her family sees you as an ATM they access through her. Say no to the first request, set the precedent. Her family's problems are not your responsibility. I sent over £30,000 to her family over 3 years. Never saw a single pound benefit our relationship. Lesson #4. Don't invest in her business dreams. She wants to open a guest house. She promises £2,800 monthly profit. Reality. The business will fail, lose money every month, be mismanaged by her relatives. Why? She has no real experience. Her relatives steal from it. She uses it as a personal ATM. It was never about profit, just getting your money. Never invest money you can't afford to lose completely. Better yet, just say no, £95,000 in a business that never made a profit. Lesson #5. Sinsot is a foreigner tax. They'll tell you it's tradition. Reality. It's extracting maximum money at the start. Thai men don't always pay sinsot. It's often returned after the ceremony. For foreigners, it rarely is. Refuse to pay it. If she, hinforten to pented, insists, major red flag. No genuine relationship should require buying into it. Lesson #6. The red flags were there. I ignored them all. Examples. She kept taking calls late at night. I ignored it. Her Thai ex was mentioned too often. I ignored it. Money kept disappearing into vague emergencies. I ignored it. Why? I didn't want to see the truth. I was too invested to back out. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. One red flag might be nothing, multiple are a pattern. Your gut knows before your brain admits it. Listen. Lesson #7. Thailand is not your friend. This isn't about Thai people, it's about the system. How foreigners are treated legally. The cultural acceptance of extracting from outsiders. The lack of legal protection. Realities. You can't own land ever. Business. Maximum 49%. Marriage doesn't grant property rights. Courts heavily favor Thais. You'll always be Farang, always an outsider. Go to Thailand to visit, not to build a life. Never put your financial security in a country where you have no rights. These 7 lessons cost me £180,000 net and 6 years to learn. I'm giving them to you for free. Maybe someone will listen. Maybe my story will save one person. Scene 5b, the final message. Word count, 280 words. Timestamp, 38 to 3040 to 0. If you're watching this, you're probably thinking about moving to Thailand. You're already there, and things aren't feeling right. You're in love with a bar girl and wondering if it's real. Don't do what I did. Don't put property in her name. Don't believe the "we're different" lie. Don't ignore red flags because you're in love. Don't trust someone you met in a bar. Don't think the age gap doesn't matter. Because you'll end up like me, broke at 65, with half your retirement gone, unable to fix what you've broken. What to do instead? If considering Thailand, visit Thailand. Don't move there permanently. Keep your money in your home country. Rent, never buy. Set a monthly budget and stick to it. Assume every woman you meet in a bar is working because she is. If you're already there and seeing red flags, get out now before you're in too deep. Don't fall for sunk cost fallacy. Better to lose £20,000 than everything. Your pride isn't worth your future. If you think she's different, she's not. You're not special. This story could be yours. Walk away. I lost £180,000 net. 6 years of my life, my retirement plans, my dignity. Don't let Thailand do to you what it did to me. Please, learn from my mistakes. Don't be another one of these stories. I escaped with £200,000 still intact. I'm one of the lucky ones. Most guys lose everything. Just don't do it.